around them for this season. And regardless of, how a season ends, you got to appreciate the people that are in that room and how they treated each other, how they treated us as a staff. The things they did for the organization this season were phenomenal.
The set, the 2-2 delivery. Swung on, hit a ton, deep left, green, back, track, wall, gone! David Fry!
They have some hard-hitting kids on the defensive side. Their linebackers play aggressive downhill. Both their outside linebackers are big kids. I think one's 200, the other one's 235 on the edge. So to have those type of outside linebackers sometimes presents a little bit of a challenge.
I'm running to celebrate with the team, and then just making sure that my block was good. If not, maybe look at it after and see what I need to improve on. But
for the first time all year, it's been good news. And I think Jason plays a little bit tonight, and I think Kyler plays a little bit tonight. And we're kind of still monitoring Tay, see where he's at, but he's making good progress. So I think there's a good chance before the year's over we get him back as well. And
it's a good feeling to be able to win on our home court on senior night. It's a lot of fun, and the crowd was amazing.
We played well. They played well. They came back and made some plays, which made it tighter, and I was glad that our guys could fight through that, realize that games are really never over where you can just sit and chill in the fourth quarter. You got to go beginning to the end. And
good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It's a Friday program. Steve Webster, Mike Corson, Mike Hesher with you for the Friday show. All right, on the program today, Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel. He'll preview Week 6 of the high school football season. He'll also have the latest prep volleyball news and a preview of today's regional tennis. And we'll hit on the Royals. Mike Corson, special interview today. You go to Ellsworth. What's going on today?
Yeah, saw it on Sports in Kansas. The group of girls, a relatively young group of girls, they're 101-7 in tennis matches this year. So mostly sophomores. So used the mighty reach of 1590 to go north.
All right, that's coming up here on the show today. Some sports headlines for you. Also sounds the past 24 hours. Let's get started. The call last night on ESPN Radio as the Yankees ended the Royals' run, winning 3-1. They move on to the ALCS that starts on Monday. And Royals fans got to be happy. 56 last year. What were the predictions again, Hash?
Corson was the highest at 84. Everybody else was, Matt Bry was 81-81. Everybody else had a losing record, and I was the most optimistic at 69-93.
The least optimistic.
No, the most optimistic. It's Dr. Doom. Come on.
Okay, all right. Okay, very good. Royal skipper Matt Quatrero, the message he added for his team after the game, thank you very much. Season is over for the Royals. Boy, I thought Salvi was going to park it. I thought he was going to hit it out in the 7th inning.
Kind of just like everybody else.
It was after the brush up and the dust up, and everybody came running out, and it was the next inning. But
I tell you what, I read Jazz Chisholm's comments after the game. A little more respect. He said, I thought he was trying to hurt my guy. He's been running his mouth on Twitter all week. I told him I didn't appreciate it.
So he was trying to hurt his guy by hitting him with his neck in the forearm.
It was a late slide, objectively. Even Bob Costa said it in the moment. He got down pretty late. I don't have a problem with that either. That's old school baseball, but he did do it, and he did take one in the neck.
Yeah, he did. And Volpe was sitting there. It's okay, and patting him on the back and everything. And then as soon as Aaron Judge ran in from center field and started waving bye-bye, then Volpe started doing the same thing. And then Jazz Chisholm, I can't wait till they play next year. Jazz Chisholm has a baseball that is reserved for the left butt cheek. Or wait, it'd be the right butt cheek, right? He's a left-handed hitter. I don't know.
Yes, it would be the right butt cheek.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't over yet.
It's the Royals Yankees. That's what we like.
I know.
We're reviving it.
Exactly. I'm refining my hatred for the Yankees, but good series. Kansas City comes up short. Don't know how you can be disappointed in that, except once you get there, you want to keep going.
And you forget how short they came up. They showed the graphic last night. The wind was blowing in. causing drag 8 to 9 feet. Isbell to the wall. Melendez to the wall that would have went out in 26 out of 30 parks. It was that close to winning or going to extras in this one game. Pitching staff got him there the whole time. The offense. So I think AP story last night says the Royals will carry momentum into next year after this year. They brought in so many pieces before the season, during the season. We have no idea what those pieces will be next year. Everybody's getting a year older. And they've got to do something about that offense. This last month has been just brutal.
J.J. Piccolo, he had a great year. I hope he continues on. I mean, what's he going to do? Does he have an encore?
Spend some money, J.J.
Well, that's not his situation. But
you bring Michael Walker back?
If he's willing to come back, yeah. And they also have, was it Kyle Wright? They picked him up from the Braves, and they got him. He had a Tommy John surgery, and he's very good with the Braves, but the Royals got him, and they're expecting big things out of him next year. So, and he's coming off an injury. I understand that stuff, but
you need one more bat.
Maybe Brady, they need to more than Brady one. Singer, okay? I mean, he should have been one of those guys that you're ace, and we've been waiting, but again, the Royals developing young pitchers hasn't been gone so well. So
but what's remarkable to me is the success they had in 14-15 was 3 guys in the bullpen. They've never replaced it. Other teams have picked it up. Granted, the bullpen was pretty solid, but you saw what having a closer, New York's, he was a shutdown guy. How many?
Not all year he wasn't.
And not Clay Holmes for sure. But
Clay Holmes he found out he could pitch better in a setup role. But Matt Quatrero's not going to manage a bullpen like Ned Yost did in 2014 and 2015. He'll bring his closer in the 5th inning, 6th inning.
Okay, that was for last night. He had gone away from that late in the year.
Well, I know, but there's not any really roles defined with the Royals. So you go back, okay, the 7th inning, the 8th inning, the 9th inning.
I tell you, if
Tampa Bay hasn't done that, and that's where Quatrero comes from. Hey, he pushed all the buttons, man.
It's crazy.
Somebody's talking about Quatrero.
You talk about next year, Zerpa comes in last night right after that, pitches well, and then looks into the dugout. Maybe they need to fire him up, bring him back, and just keep him fired up all the time.
It'll be an interesting offseason for the Royals.
It will be.
But we got to see baseball into October, and they kept me entertained all year long. We got to
see baseball into June, Hedge.
I know. That's what all summer we had Royals baseball, which was thrilling.
Okay, so it's been 9 years since we had a season like this. Will they get obnoxious heading into spring training and whatnot, or will we be
like
overly optimistic?
Yeah, when they came out and wanted to fight everybody.
That was Yordano Ventura who wanted to fight everybody, if I recall right.
So the Yankees move on. They'll open the American League Championship Series on Monday against either Detroit or Cleveland. The call on WTAM.
It's your boy, Hesh.
That was the best call ever. Backtrack, wall, gone.
David Fry, 2-run pinch hit home run. These playoffs have had some dramatic moments.
They have.
So Cleveland comes from behind. They win. Game 5 of that series will be tomorrow. We'll have it here for you on KVGB starting at 6:30 tomorrow for baseball. Tonight we'll have Game 5 of the Padres and the Dodgers. That's at 6:30 here on KVGB. Game 1 of the NLCS, the Mets against the winner of the Dodgers and the Padres.
So that'll be a twilight game tonight in California.
Correct. A little bit earlier, yeah.
Yeah, it is. The sun will mess with them.
Yes, it will. The shadows.
The shadows.
The shadows will be there. So there's the lineup. High school football tonight. Great Bend at Liberal. Head coach Aaron Beck on the program yesterday talking about Liberal. The Redskins play old school football.
They run the ball a lot. And they have a couple of defensive linebackers that they like to hit, is what he says.
Make the road trip, take care of business, and then get ready for Hayes High next Friday night at Memorial Stadium.
That could be a large crowd. It better be a large crowd.
I think it's going to be one of the top games in the state. Carter Brown, Blaine Ensley, both joining us here in the studio yesterday. 2 fun kids. Carter Brown, well, I really don't do much at center.
That's what he said.
I watch him. He does a lot. Also, Blaine Ensley talking, because I asked him, so, well, what's a touchdown for you guys? He said, well, go celebrating, the hole that we opened. Or
I don't think he quite understood the question. Well, I mean, so were you asking him, like, if you do a pancake block, is that a touchdown for you? Or
Right.
I mean, that's what is that what you were asking him? Or did
You
he?
heard the question. What do you think I was asking him?
Well, I thought you were asking him personally. What was a touchdown for him personally?
What would a touchdown be like for you? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Because they don't get to score touchdowns.
No. Really?
So what? Anyway.
Move on.
Obviously, he didn't understand it. Neither did you. So
I don't understand.
It was a bad question.
Maybe it was a bad question. Yes.
Okay. Great Bend and Liberal tonight at 7. Panther send-off show gets underway at 6:30. One of the more compelling stories in high school football, I think, this year will be watching the Hoisenden Cardinals. They're 1-4. They played a brutal schedule. They've gone through all kinds of injury issues. They're starting to get them back. Zach Baird talking about that. You see J-Rob on the field tonight. Jason Robinson, Kyler Russell, Taylor Morales, guys that they're expecting to come back. They'll take on Lakin tonight. And the line at the dumpster.
It's going to be 12.5. Lakin's getting 12.5. I'm more curious, what is the over-under on Mr. Robinson's interception total tonight? It's going to be a hungry little fella.
So is he going to play some? Is he going to play a lot?
Yeah, it's a wild card, but glad to see him back in any capacity. You heard, man, first play of the season. That is remarkable. He's supposed to have this big senior season, so glad he's at least getting to see some time.
Okay, other high school football tonight in the WAC. Hayes High, they're home against Dodge City. They take care of business. They would be 4-2. They played a very difficult schedule. Wichita Southeast at Garden City. Larned at Southwestern Heights. Indians need to get this one on the road somewhere between Kismet and Plains.
So Gary Wagner and I could have rode together.
I guess. Okay. Are you going to walk the rest of the way to Liberal?
I would drop him off.
Okay. Oh, okay. How would he get home?
Well, that's his problem.
Okay. All right. Pratt at Phillipsburg tonight. Ellsworth will look to go to 6-0. They play at Halstead tonight. Nickerson at Lyons. Ellenwood will try to get to 5-1 tonight. In Hutch against Hutch Trinity, who's 2-3. Russell at unbeaten Norton tonight. 8-man Central Plains home to take on Canton Galva, who's 2-3. The Oilers are 4-1. 5-0 Hodgman County goes to Maxville tonight. Maxville's 3-2. La Crosse at Wichita County tonight. That'll be a tough one for John Webster's Leopards. Mineola at St. John. What's the line on that one?
I haven't man.
Mineola's 5-0, St. John 2-3. I don't know what the injury situation is. I think St. John could be a closer game than a lot of people expect. Victoria at Stafford tonight. Victoria's 5-0. Kinsley 4-1 at Meade, 1-4. Otis Bison at Tesket tonight. Winner of that game will get second in the district. Otis Bison 3-2. Tesket 3-2. Pawnee Heights is at Moscow, and Chase plays at Cunningham tonight. College football tomorrow or tonight in the Big 12. 16th ranked Utah plays Arizona State. Another one of those Friday games. Other Big 12 matchups, Cincinnati at UCF, Iowa State at West Virginia tomorrow. Then tomorrow night, the game Mike Corson will be at. Kansas State ranked 18th against the 4-1 Colorado Buffaloes. It has been 2010 since K-State played a football game in Boulder.
Did you learn something biology today?
I did. Robert is a solid listener of 1590 KVGB, and he emailed me this morning and said, tell Corson to be careful when he tries to jump on Ralphie because Ralphie is a female.
You never know.
Okay, so, but he followed that up. Here's some great information. Okay, Robert was a junior at CU in 1966 when Ralphie arrived on the scene. According to Wikipedia, the basis of her name and its original spelling are Ralph. It's R-R-A-A-L-P-H, are of disputed origin. Her name changed to Ralphie by the end of her first season. But Robert says the true story is the student body did vote to name the Bison Ralph, or Ralph with two A's, or Ralph. Whatever spelling, but then the then president ruled that the name was inappropriate for a female.
Well, they'd be in
even
trouble
back
now,
then.
wouldn't they?
Imagine that argument coming out of Boulder. There was a revote with a ballot containing names such as Missy, Buffy, etc., but Ralphie won as a write-in candidate. So now you know the rest of the story.
But why would I be more afraid of a female buffalo? I'm going to call it a buffalo than a male. It's going to be smaller. I think they chose a female because it's safer.
Do female buffalo have horns?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, all right.
But I think they're just smaller.
I think he was just trying to warn you. Maybe,
Yes.
I mean, obviously Robert's an expert on buffalo, I think, and
I will
he was
take
just
it.
trying to warn
Yeah,
you. Don't
I'll
try
stay
to
away
jump
now.
on it.
Yes.
Okay, top 25 ranked teams in action playing one another. Number 1 Texas, 18th ranked Oklahoma play in the Cotton Bowl. Interesting game. Ohio State, ranked second, goes to Oregon to take on the Oregon Ducks in a Big Ten matchup. And 9th ranked Ole Miss is at 13th ranked LSU. All right, other sounds. Kara Feist, like the crowd last night. You were both there for Great Bend High School, winning 2 more matches as they take care of Emporia and highly regarded Hillsboro.
Yeah, the spotlight was on the Hillsboro match. They're 2-time defending 2A champs. Coach has over 650 career wins. Number 4 this year in Class 2A. But don't forget Emporia. They're 18-9 coming into that with 3 girls over 5'11", 2 over 6 foot. And Great Bend, other than a little bit of a slow start, handled them pretty handily in the next 4 sets. And then Hillsboro and Emporia, man, they battled it out for a long time in 3 sets for anyone waiting to get over with volleyball and get home to watch the Royals.
I wasn't wanting to get home to watch the Royals, but I was waiting to get out of there. I'm like, come on, ladies, let's go. But the best part, Brody Schnoblin was there last night for the Panthers, and he had an entourage. There were 2 young men carrying him down the stairs, and then a couple of ladies behind him had his wheelchair. So Brody Schnoblin was at the event last night, and it was good to see him.
Yep, good to see him, Panther offensive lineman. That, man, had his season cut short for sure. All right, our final cut, Brock Purdy talking about the win last night, 36-24 for the 49ers over Seattle. Purdy throwing for 255 yards, 3 touchdowns. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so.
I did get a break in. My associate sent me the line on the Victoria Kinsley, 47.5.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it depends on how the scoring goes. It could
gonna
be
be in the
46. 46. I mean, Stafford still could cover.
Could. Mark, the dumpster's back there. You know where it is.
Okay, again, arrive from the north, drive to the south to place your bets on the right side. You'll have to do it on the passenger window, so you have to have somebody riding with you, or you need to be a rural mail carrier. We will take a break. Connor Nickel coming up next here on Sports Day.
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
I need some work done.
Are you in a haunted house?
No, it's my garage door. I think I might need a new one.
We can take a look. We can do repairs and replacement. We'll see what's right for you.
What a relief. I thought I was going to get stuck in here.
Call the guys in orange at C&E Doors to fix your haunted house.
C&E Doors, Great Bend. Follow the orange signs just south of 10th and Harrison.
Hey, high school seniors, ready to figure out what's next? Barton Community College's Senior Day is the place to be on November 20th. Whether your dream starts with tackling your gen eds and transferring to a university, or you want to dive straight into a technical program that can land you a job in as little as 1 semester, Barton has you covered. Did we mention that there's $6,000 in scholarships up for grabs? Sign up before November 4th at seniorday.bartonccc.edu. Your future's waiting. Discover it at Senior Day.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
What's going on in high school sports? Well, let's ask him. Sports Day is proud to welcome in Sunflower Sports Solutions' Connor Nickel.
Connor's back. It's Friday. Connor Nickel with us here on Sports Day. Connor with, of course, the creator of Sunflower Sports Solutions. Before we went on the air, Connor said you're not a one-trick pony. That's why we're going to start off today by talking about regional tennis, which is taking place across the state today, and you're all over it at Sunflower Sports Solutions.
Exactly right. So the Waukene Regional is one to really pinpoint here. And there's a lot of really, really standout players who can do, I think, really, really well at state. Ellsworth in particular. So Ellsworth is 101-6 across the board with its main varsity players. NRA Rippert at doubles has posted an unbelievable season. She has won every single match. Coonrod is her partner, Reagan Coonrod, and they really have not even been tested a whole lot. They have beaten the great Heston team. So Heston is just an incredible tennis powerhouse. They've beaten that team 8-6. The Conway Springs team is also really, really good. They have beat them as well too. A lot of blowout wins, including against Salina South. So, Ellsworth has it going on big time. Hoisington has two nice players, Reese Murlaugh and Claire Crutcher. They're both really, really experienced players. Reese, they're both seniors as well. Reese will likely have a top probably 3 seed, maybe even higher. She won the major Waukene meet a couple of weeks ago. That's the major regular season meet that goes on all day long. It's like a 10-hour meet, and she took first there. Victoria and Russell, of course, co-op. Aurora Nolan is their senior. She's 19-8 this year. She should get a top 4 seed. Her sister Piper has played singles as well too. And then Russell has got a doubles team of Haley Gear, a senior, and then Anna Marie Marcel, who is a freshman. They've got a record of well over 500. They also did very, very well at the Waukene meet. Russell has not had somebody qualified for tennis in quite some time, and that definitely could happen this weekend. Also, Great Bend has put together a really nice year. You look at what has happened. Coach Bartell has done a lot of nice things. I know Mike Corson has kind of hit on that too, been super impressed. And then the one girl who's not in the Waukene Regional, but is an incredible girl, is from Sterling. So Sterling will go south and to Mashland, so southwest. And Janae Ryan, the former great Central Plains girl, she is their coach. Chelsea Brown. Chelsea Brown is their standout's name. Chelsea Brown has not lost this year, and she is an incredible player. I mean, Aurora, our senior, she's been looked at by some KCAC schools. Aurora's got a 4-year career. She's been to a state. Chelsea Brown's a different level. I mean, Chelsea Brown could win the 3-2-1A state championship. And then the last one I want to talk about with Central Plains, Ryan Metro and Paige Lamash. Of course, Ryan Metro is Coach Metro's daughter. Paige Lamash, a great all-around athlete. They should be a doubles team who should figure very, very high, not only at the regional, but for state. So Golden Belt area tennis this year on the girls' side is quite strong.
Okay. The week that was and some developments that you've seen, some top stories from volleyball in this part of the state.
Yeah, certainly. So, I think one thing that's going to be really interesting, too, and I talked to a volleyball coach about this the other night, and something that we haven't really hit on this year is just, there are some changes in the postseason, particularly with 1A. And, now it's the regional format, then you go into a sub-state. There's just some different things with that. And the major thing is, we've talked so much about Hoisington and Beloit and those things, but with the format being different, with particularly the smaller classes, particularly 1A Division 2, there's a lot of people who are like, man, who are the favorites out west in 1A Division 2? I still believe that Lebo, Attica, and Hanover are probably your top 3 teams, but they're all on the east side. Now, 1A Division II, quietly, Victoria is 17-8 with losses to mainly bigger schools. Otis Bison has quietly had a really good year. We haven't talked about Otis Bison all year, 17-10. Ingalls has the superb player, the Stein girl, who is committed to WSU and leads the country actually in kills. I mean, the Stein girl is really, really amazing. Pawnee Heights is 10-16, but they're still seated in the top half. So I really wanted to hit on 1A Division II this week because after talking to a coach last week, some teams are going to go to state that in 1A Division II that might be just above 500 or around that. I think Otis Bison is a team that maybe we haven't talked about, but even when Otis Bison had taken second and third at state, when Taylor Regan and those teams, they were losing 10, 11 matches a year. And so, we've mentioned Hoisington and Beloit a lot, and some Great Bend, of course, but I really wanted to highlight Otis Bison this week. Destiny Mitchell, a senior. Zoe Schwint, a senior. There's another Schwint sister who have put together really, really impressive years. Otis Bison is a really good volleyball team and could go to state and honestly could play on the final day, too.
I'm glad you brought up Otis Bison. We had Coach Coles and two players in. Logan Meyer was in here. Jake Hoopengarner on the Wednesday show. Yeah, it's been a good fall at Otis Bison.
Yeah, and, I've been very public about this, that they probably should have gone six-man sooner, and I think Otis Bison knows that. But when you went six-man when you did, you got Mark Coles. Mark Coles and I sat down earlier this fall for a while, and we talked about his team, and they are really good. They're not Cunningham good, but I don't think anybody is. And again, they've got a real shot. Weskin, Ingalls, South Barber, and them are that next tier. Otis Bison can say we can make a deep playoff run. They have completely turned around the program, going six-man for them. When you've got 8 pretty good players, you can play six-man and you can do well. Coach Coles loves everything about Otis. You mentioned Jacob Hoopengarner has had a great season at quarterback. Really thought Otis could make a big step, and that has certainly happened. Otis Bison went through a several-year stretch in volleyball when they were really, really good. Yeah. Mitchell and Reagan among that. And, of course, you kind of drop off with numbers, but even a drop-off for them was 16 and 18. You're still a 500 team. And now, again, in Class 1A Division II, if you can win 20 matches a year, you can go to state. You really can. And so we haven't talked about 1A2 much this year, Steve-O, but I wanted to really highlight them this week.
What about St. John? We really haven't talked about them too much this year. I mean, what are they doing down there for volleyball?
Yeah, St. John is really impressive. I mean, the Reed girl, 6'2", just is really, really good at the net. They're in Class 1A, Division I, Regional 3. And the thing was, in previous years, some of these teams would have been in the same sub-state and things like that. I mean, Class 1A, Division I at the top is loaded. Spearville 25-2, South Central 23-3, Montezuma South Grade 24-4, Pratt Skyline 24-6, Pretty Prairie 21-9, St. John 19-10. Now, I do think strength of schedule comes into play a bit with some of those teams. I think St. John has played some harder teams. Normally, Coach Wade really takes them to do some really challenging tournaments. But, yeah, Class 1A, Division I one this year is loaded. And you look at what South Gray has done at state last year, playing for a state championship. Spearville won state a couple of years ago. South Central, they've been a 2A team in the last 10 years. They've been a 1A Division II team. Wherever South Central falls on that line can kind of affect things. I do think Pratt Skyline is a little bit strength of schedule oriented. They don't play maybe as hard of teams, but with Reed on the front line for St. John, that's a super impressive all-state player.
Okay, we'll get to football here just after the break, but I don't want to stay in six-man since we kind of dabbled in that just a little bit. Kind of interesting, Otis Bison goes east which is a bad thing because Cunningham's over on that side.
Yeah, it is. Cunningham is so good. I mean, we are looking at a historically great six-man team. I mean, I would honestly put Cunningham in the same breath as Axtell this year in terms of just utter domination. Cunningham has multiple four-year players, has multiple. The quarterback is a multi-year starter. They won state basketball last year. I mean, this is peak Cunningham. Coach McGuire won a state title 2 years ago with his son, but it's this year's team that was probably going to be the best team that they have ever had. And I remember seeing some of these kids as freshmen playing a lot, and Coach was like, we're really excited about this freshman group. Of course, 10 years ago, Cunningham didn't even have a team, period. And now look at where they are the peak of their powers. So again, it might be a little bit of playing for second with them and with Axtell, but at the same token, you want to get there and face them and see what happens.
Okay, so we're staying. You mentioned Axtell. How many games they won now? 45, 44 in a row?
Yeah, 44 straight. So, it was really interesting. I was the one who kind of did the research 6-7 years ago when Hanover broke the record that had stood since the 1980s. That was a really big story. And Hanover had a couple of close games along the way. I mean, I think that Axtell, we all kind of recognized it as, wow, this is an incredible run. But it's also, they're just destroying everybody. I mean, there wasn't even any competition really for about 2 seasons now. I think the last real game was against Canton Galv in the playoffs in 2022. Part of it is too, I mean, you've got generational talents. Part of it too is the hardest games for them this year are Hanover and Frankfort, which are at the end of the year. So I think there will be some competition then. Their first 5 or 6 weeks, they're scoring touchdowns, Steve, I believe on 70% of their plays this year. Like, that is just unheard of.
Okay, so talk quietly if you're in the halls of Victoria right now, because I think Victoria's got a really good football team, but is it just getting to the state championship game that's going to be the big thing for Victoria?
Yeah, I mean, Victoria's got to get over that hump. There was even some conversation yesterday of, we want to face Axtell. I saw a mock bracket made up, but they understand, too, that they've got to win some games, and Dighton's going to be in their path, and Dighton has elite players at a couple of positions. I mean, I think that the Kramer kid for quarterback at Dighton is as good as there is. In terms of high school talent, he is an immense talent. They've got George Van Leonrud, who's a really nice player as well, kind of a two-way guy, a great player on defense. So Dighton has some elite talent, but do they have the overall depth to match up with Victoria or in the Axtell is really the question.
Yeah, so and the quarterback we're talking about at Dighton, I believe he's been a starter since freshman year, right?
Yeah, he was an all-state receiver, started as a freshman, all-state receiver as a sophomore. Junior year, they moved him to quarterback week 3 when Carson Scheimer is now playing college basketball, got hurt. Kramer had a huge dual threat year, and then now this year he's having another great season. His for those who remember Kramer's from Dighton, he is at least the 4th all-state kid in his family. Wow. His older brother was the one who caught that amazing touchdown pass to beat Otis Bison in the playoffs. His oldest sister played college basketball at Tabor. And, of course, his other oldest sister, Sarah Kramer, played basketball at Hutch, is now married to Trey Teeter, who coaches at Holcomb. So, yeah, the Kramer family has just been amazing at sports for a long time.
That's why you listen to Connor Nickel. You get family lineage and a family tree at the same time on the program. Okay, we're going to take a break, Connor. We'll be back, and we'll hit Great Bend,
From
Liberal, the
Mail Money
WAC coming up
Management
right
Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Hey y'all, it's Dr. Ty here at Animal Medical, and in the next couple months, we are going to pivot and talk about behavior and training. From our standpoint, we see it affect so many folks out there in the relationship with their animal, and even the relationship with us as their caretaker is all affected by how those animals get started from a training process. We focus on some basics. If you have any questions, call. Large or small, we take care of them all.
Covering your local teams and your local athletes. It's Sports Day on KVGB, presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Connor Nickel with us. Great Bend at Liberal tonight. Hayes is at home against Dodge City. They meet a week from tonight at Memorial Stadium in Great Bend. Is there any reason why we shouldn't expect Great Bend to be 6-0 going into that game and Hayes High 4-2?
I think people are already stoked about that game, and that could be the premier game statewide. It really, really could. Hayes High is playing with a lot of juice right now, and rightfully so. When you look at who they have beaten and how they have beaten them, and when you look at this, you know, you lose to Manhattan on the final play. Manhattan has not had a competitive game in any other contest this year. They controlled Junction City. I think the score is a little misleading. I mean, Hayes High was in full control of that game. Wasn't a blowout, but controlled. And then obviously Derby is just stopping everybody, and Hayes High was competitive with them. Hayes High says that we've lost to 2 of maybe the best 4 or 5 teams in the state. Probably throw Garner-Edgerton and Mill Valley in there. But, you know, teams that are really, really good. And obviously Great Bend with a lot of quality wins against some really good teams. Really impressed last week with Great Bend to, you know, scoreless first quarter. You know, Dodge City still got plenty of life and hope. And then second quarter, it's halftime, and it's 21-7. You know, we talked about last year when Great Bend had lost some of these close games, that they weren't scoring first. They were letting a Bueller or a Hayes High or, you know, somebody else, Capon even, you know, kind of take advantage and take that lead early and dictate the game at their level. And that's just hard. It's hard to always come back. 2 years ago, Great Bend did it a lot. It's just hard, though. And for Great Bend to assert themselves with leads at the half or first quarter, I think says a lot with how much this team has really improved. You know, Daxton Minton completing 83% of his passes last week. They put over 400 yards of offense on the board. They hold Dodge City to 197. And a little bit, it kind of reminded me of the Chiefs game on Monday, where, you know, the Chiefs really controlled that game, put up 500 yards of offense, and were just in full control. I felt like the same thing with the Great Bend and Dodge City. And I believe last week, Steve-O, I said 28-14. That's what the score was.
I said 35-14. I said 21 points, but Aaron Beck just pulled back at the end. That's all it was. Yeah, that was a nice pick. Okay, let's talk 2A right now. Saw Beloit play last week against Norton. Great football game. Great, and Norton was able to pull it out on the road, 14-7. And what I bring it, Houston's 1-4, right? They're getting everybody. They're not getting everybody back yet, but they're getting healthier, and they're probably a favorite, even though 1-4, hosting a 4-1 Lakin team tonight. But other than maybe southeast of Saline, and Beloit played a competitive game with them. There's some things that happened in that game, maybe let that score get out of hand. 2A's wide open on the west side, isn't it?
I completely agree. I mean, I still think Southeast East is your best team. I completely agree with you. And there was people. I mean, there was a reason why Southeast of Saline's now ranked number one over Norton in the poll, is because people are starting to shift their minds now. Coach Gephardt, we talked about Peak Cunningham earlier on. This is Peak Southeast. You know, this might be the best team that Coach Gephardt's ever had, but by the same token, he's never made a state championship game. Norton's only made one, and we remember how they got there a couple years back, of course. So again, you're dealing with teams in 2A West that are perennially good, but very, very rarely great. And so there's a lot of thinking of, hey, there's still a lot of teams in this mix. Ellsworth is 5-0 as well. This Hoisington-Lakin game is going to be really, really fascinating. I actually have Hoisington as a 20-point favorite. I really, really do. I think Hoisington is going to come out and realize, hey, we're not facing Cheney, Scott City, or Pratt anymore. We do the things that we normally do, we're going to be just fine. I think that athleticism across the board for Hoisington is going to be markedly better than Lakin. I mean, Coulter Oldham is a phenomenal athlete for Lakin. They've got some other nice pieces. That they've got a great coach. But I think Hoisington wins this and reestablishes themselves as a true contender in 2A West.
Okay, Ellenwood is 4-1. Okay, their only loss to Sterling, a game they let get away in the fourth quarter. Sterling beats Medicine Lodge last week. All of a sudden, it opens up. Ellenwood's 4-1. Hutch Trinity, they're playing in Hutch tonight, 2-3. I don't know how good Medicine Lodge is right now. You've got Conway. I understand that. I'm not picking Ellenwood to win that, but they could go through the first 8 weeks of the season 6-2, possibly.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, and this may sound crazy. Ellenwood reminds me of Vanderbilt. And the reason why I say this is because there was something that came out after Vanderbilt beat Alabama. And it was, they almost beat Mizzou when Mizzou was top 10 in the country on the road. Then they lost kind of a fluky game against Georgia State. The point was made of, if Vanderbilt beats Mizzou in overtime and you don't lose kind of a fluky game, Vanderbilt could be a top 10 team. Why do I say that in terms of the Eagles? In many polls this week, Sterling's ranked, and I have Sterling fifth too. So Ellenwood is a fourth quarter away from being undefeated and beating a high quality Sterling team, and probably being ranked fifth in 1A1. The narratives change quickly, Steve-O, when you only play 8 regular season games. And Medicine Lodge, goal this summer, win 1A1, or win Class 1A. And that has definitely fallen off. Conway trucked them. They lose last week. The narrative on Ellenwood is shifting mightily. And one thing to really point out this year, Landon Simpson on offense has been really good, and they're averaging nearly 8 yards a carry and 350 rushing yards a game.
Okay, one more for you. Hodgman County's 5-0. How good are the Longhorns?
That was brought up to me yesterday. That was literally a conversation at lunch. How good are the Longhorns? As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I'm keeping one eye on them. Coach Hausman has led that team to a state championship game in the past. Are they as good as that team? No. I mean, that team had elite players. But I think this is a team that's on the rise. The knock on Hodgman has always been, do you have the linemen to play with the big boys? On that state championship team, the team that lost to Hanover by 7 points, 8 points, they did. Then they had the quarterback to go along with it. Do you have the people up front that when you get out of Southwest Kansas and when you play a Victoria or you play teams like that, can you match up? That's still the question that people are struggling on when it comes to Jetmore is what can you do against a non-Southwest Kansas school?
Which would bring us, if you had to pick right now, Central Plains and Hodgman, who would win in your opinion?
Yeah, I'm actually going to pick CP. The ability for them to score quickly in the passing game, Victoria pulled away and they win. They had the great special teams game as well too. Victoria was clearly the better team, but CP, if Kreitz has a half a second longer to throw to the open receiver as opposed to getting trucked by Victoria's great line, it's maybe a different game. I think Victoria still wins, but it's more competitive.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I think exactly right. I think Kreitz will have that extra half a second on Friday to throw the ball 30 yards downfield and not get trucked. And I think CP's passing game shows up.
Yeah, and of course Central Plains is D1 and Hodgman's D2. Yeah, everybody goes back and forth all the time, so that's probably not a good question for you today. Who's better, 8-man 1 or 8-man 2 this year?
Well, 8-man 2's got the best overall team. There is a feeling, I'm going to say quiet part out loud here because multiple coaches have told me this. They do not believe 8-man 2 is very strong past about team 6. You can cut it off at Dighton. Conversation I've had with two different coaches 100 miles apart from each other in the last week is after Dighton, who's good? And most people have Dighton 5 or 6. Is Buckland? And people are like, really? Buckland's the 7th best team? And no knock on Coach Powell. I think he's got a really nice program. But there's no 10, 11, 12 this year who's really good. Marmaton Valley, way in southeast Kansas, lost to a non-Keisha homeschool team this year. And Marmaton Valley's 4-1. It's a little bit of, where's the depth? Well, 8-man Division I, I think, is much, much deeper.
So you're not kicking the football on my Mineola Wildcats? Come on, man, they're 5-0.
I like Mineola, but by the same token, when has Mineola advanced past the quarterfinals? They always seem to lose to somebody who plays defense against them.
Yeah,
Mineola's offense is awesome, but can they compete deep in the playoffs when it's not 72-40?
You're always consistent. I kind of jumped on the Mineola bandwagon last year and said, no, that's not going to happen, and then they got slapped around. Yeah, okay. That's why we have you on, Connor. Hey, enjoy tennis today and enjoy the football tonight, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, awesome, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Another great segment with Connor Nichols, Sunflower Sports Solutions. Go check it out, sunflowersportsolutions.com. Fantastic job. And love talking to Connor on Friday. We'll have more Sports Day coming up for you right after this.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
I need some work done.
Are you in a haunted house?
No, it's my garage door. I think I might need a new one.
We can take a look. We can do repairs and replacement. We'll see what's right for you.
What a relief. I thought I was going to get stuck in here.
Call the guys in orange at C&D Doors to fix your haunted house.
C&D Doors, Great Bend. Follow the orange signs just south of 10th and Harrison.
Pulling acres ahead of the competition is simple. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils are formulated with EnduroVis technology and a balanced additive package to control deposits for a cleaner, more efficient engine that gives you proven durability. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today. Going a little out of the norm of Great Bend Sports to talk to Ellsworth tennis coach Eric Anderson. Coach, you're at regional action today. Nice chance of winning, so we will get to that. I saw some crazy numbers from Ellsworth Tennis the other day on Sports in Kansas, and that we got to talk to this guy. So talk about some of the kids you have back this year.
Yeah, we're kind of lucky. We had a young team last year with 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior. All of them qualified for the state meet. 5 of those 6 placed at the state meet, and all 6 are back this year. So got some really good kids, and a lot, and like I said, all of our returners, and they're excited to be back this year and ready to see what we can do at regionals today and tomorrow, and hopefully next weekend at state.
So you guys are 101-7 overall as a team. Have you ever really seen anything like that, especially kind of in the public school range?
Not really. It's just kind of been an amazing run that the girls have had this season. You know, they've taken off from where they left off last year at the state meet, and just played some really good tennis at times this year.
And kind of the weird thing is you've got your state runner-up doubles team. That's Reagan Coonrod. She's a sophomore, and Inari Rippert, a junior. So you've kept them together. They're unbeaten this year, but you also had some success at singles and doubles last year that you broke up. What went into that decision?
The girls kind of went into that decision. We talked in the off season over the summer that we really wanted to work hard at getting all 6 of our girls to place at the state meet, so we had a chance to bring home one of them state plaques. Last year we were 2 points short of bringing home a 3rd place plaque, and they really came to me and said, hey, we need to change things up a little bit, and we ran with it.
So you've got sophomore Carly Hazy, 26-1 as a singles player. She was 10th at state last year. And then your other single player is another sophomore, Hannah Vague, at 24-3 overall. I would consider that pretty remarkable that they're just sophomores. Where did they come from, and when did they get so good?
Well, both of them had older sisters that played for me. And then we added junior high tennis here, which has been a great program or a great feeder program for our girls team. They go right from the spring, right through the summer program, and then right into girls tennis. And it's just been awesome the last few years to see our girls progress. We have some freshman girls this year that in previous years probably could have made it to our varsity team, and they just got in that kind of unlucky mode that we had a load of younger girls last year. So our Coach Masog, our assistant coach for the high schools, the junior high program director, and he just does a great job with them.
And you've got your sophomore Reagan Coonrod and junior Inari Rippert, undefeated this year, state runners-up. I forgot to look to see if the girls who beat them last year have graduated, but what's the outlook for those two this weekend and heading into state?
They're the team that beat them last year in the finals from Wichita Collegiate is back, Conrad, and I can't think of the other girl's name right now, but they're both back. We've had some tough matches this year. Heston's got a pretty good doubles team, and we barely beat them 8-6. Conway Springs, Cooster, and Cooster are back. They finished 3rd last year at state, and we eked out a win over them in a tiebreak. It's going to come down to who's playing best this weekend and next to see who can get in the top 4.
We're talking to Ellsworth tennis coach Eric Anderson, and the other one was the group that Felice De La Cruz, she's a junior, qualified as a singles player last year, teamed up with senior Elena Junt this year. She got 11th as a doubles player. So that's a new team for you, but they're 24-3. What are the expectations for them?
Our goal is for all 6 of our girls to medal, and those girls have a really good shot at it. Felice has moved from singles to doubles. Elena did the same thing last year. She started in singles, and after about 3 meets, we moved her to play doubles with Hannah Vague, and they kind of took off together. And this year it's kind of been the same thing. Felice kind of struggled to start with, understanding the discipline and strategies of doubles. but recently she's been playing some really good tennis, and her and Elena, I look for them to, to compete today and tomorrow at regionals and hopefully next weekend at state.
Yeah, so one more for you here. When we talk about Class 3 2-1A tennis, unfortunately, you usually have to throw in at least collegiate, sometimes independent. Last year, collegiate kind of doubled up the field. Expectations as a team this year?
Our goal has been since last year at the state meet is to come away with a trophy. Our girls were happy last year for the success they had, but there was also a little bit of disappointment to come up 2 points shy. So all off season, they've talked about it. They've worked hard with each other and through the summer and with us so far this year. And the goal is for us to bring home one of those plaques. I don't know if we'll be able to knock off collegiate. They've kind of, ran through 3-2-1A and 4A the last 30 or 40 years. It's tough to knock them off. So we're going to give them our best shot.
Ellsworth tennis coach Eric Anderson, his Lady Bearcats are undefeated on the season, 101-7 in individual matches. They've won 17 of their last 18 over the last 2 years, and they're 207-40 over the last 2 years. Coach, good luck today and next week at state.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
More Sports Day after this.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Discover textbook freedom with Barton Community College's new low-cost degree pathway. With Pathway certified online courses, you get the Barton guaranteed option that your textbooks and course materials will cost $50 or less per class. Whether you want to earn your associate degree or transfer credits to a four-year university, Barton offers flexible online courses and personalized support. Achieving your goals is now easier and more affordable. Learn more at textbookfreedom.bartoncccc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Final segment of the Friday Sports Day show. Steve Webster with you. Getting ready for Major League Baseball tonight here on KVGB. We'll have Game 5. Dodgers and the Padres starts at 6:30. Football on our other 3 platforms, B1043 The Point. Mike Hesher, Sean Bear bring you Great Bend and Liberal tonight. Cole Reif and Gene Manweiler with the call on KHOK, Hoisington and Lakin, and then Buddy Tabler and Gary Wagner with Larned Football on Hits 106.9. Big 12 coaches have tabbed Kansas as a preseason favorite to win the Big 12. Jayhawks picked ahead of Houston, Iowa State, Baylor, and league newcomer Arizona in a vote that was released yesterday for the conference's 16 coaches. Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Kansas State, BYU, and TCU rounding out the top 10, followed by UCF, Arizona State, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Colorado, and Utah. Kansas center Hunter Dickinson picked as the preseason player of the year, while transfer guards Jeremy Roach and Coleman Hawkins shared the newcomer of the year honors. So college basketball is certainly just around the corner. And finally, an NCAA study on social media abuse of athletes, coaches, and other officials during championship events found nearly 1 in 5 posts that were flagged by an AI-based algorithm and determined to be abusive involved sexual harassment. 12% were related to sports betting. College athletics governing body's findings of its first online harassment study using Signify Group's threat matrix examined more than 72,000 messages flagged by the algorithm. Over 5,000 of those posts confirmed to contain abusive, discriminatory, or threatening content and were reported to social media companies. Results of the pilot study were released yesterday. More fun stuff from social media. That's our show for today. That's our show for the week. We'll be back Monday here on Sports Day on KVGB.